This was a learning for me about not feeding wild animals. I went to Machu Picchu and I was eating, you're not allowed to take food into Machu Picchu, but everybody does if they can. And I'd taken some bananas with me, and I was eating a banana up on the terrace, and this llama came over and he wanted my banana, so I gave my camera to somebody to take some photos for me, and got, you know, some really good photos of me like kissing this llama, I had the banana in my mouth and it took it from my mouth, right? And then this one had just given birth to a tiny one.
Oh.
And so I was like giving it some banana peel because they like bananas. And then this young lad from America was disgusted with me, and he taught me a really valuable lesson about not feeding the animals because it disrupts the ecosystem. And he said to me, "You've just taught that wild animal that humans are a source of food." And I had to really reflect on that, because I thought it was really cool, you know, to feed wild animals, but I didn't realise how uncool it is until actually I was in Iguazu, and you know, there's signs everywhere about don't touch or feed the animals, and it's because it does interrupt the ecosystem. It really puts it in, it changes the balance of it. These coatis here at the top, they were sort of really aggressive. People were sitting, you know, eating the dinner, and the coatis were coming up and, you know, like wanting to steal the food, and people were running away, scared of them.
What was it? What animal?
Coatis, this one here,
Oh, right.
Quatis I think it's called. It's a bit like an anteater,
It's like a raccoon.
a raccoon, yeah, it's a bit like a cross. This one here could smell some bananas in Oksana's bag. But they also carry rabies as well, so you've got to be really, really careful. So it's taught me a valuable lesson because it's something that wasn't in my consciousness before, but now it is. Explore your shadow self. Now, for me, this was like a huge part of my spiritual journey. And our shadow selves are those parts of us that we hide and repress. It's like the bits that we're afraid to show to other people, to the world. So it could be that you've been ridiculed in the past, somebody's made fun of you, you might have been punished, you might have been shamed, and then you learn not to do, you know, that behaviour because we think that it's unacceptable. So we repress it, and what happens is that you know, Carl Jung, the psychotherapist, you know, he asked the question, would you rather be good or would you rather be whole? That's a really interesting question, because I'd rather be whole and come to wholeness. And how can we find our shadow self, right? Have you heard that saying, what you resist persists?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, this is where it comes from, right? If you resist exploring your shadow, it will persist and it will grow stronger. But you've got to really be prepared to shine a light on those aspects of yourself that you may not necessarily like. And so it's having complete honesty with yourself. So how do we find our shadow? Well, one of the ways is through projection. Everything in this world, we're projecting all the time. We're holographic. And we put our projections onto other people. So one of the ways to discover your projections is, what is it that you observe in other people? What behaviours are you know, so like, what do you react to? Who pushes your buttons? What are those buttons? Why are they so pressing? You know, like, why are you reacting? And so what I've been doing over many, many years now is looking for the source, the underlying source and triggers for any buttons that are being pressed, so that I can track it back to look at where it came from originally.